My name is Torell Partlow, and this is Franklin Boulevard Media. I'm from West Gastonia. I like to say from right by the shrimp boat, from the shrimp boat to the hole, I rep Myrtle. I was raised by my mother, the beautiful Gloria Partlow, and she experienced some of the same struggles that most of mothers, single mothers do, raising two single children. But what most amazed me about my mother, my beautiful, strong mother, is that she was able to raise my sister and I off of $236 a month. And I think back to that and I say to myself, man, my mother was a strong-willed woman. She always, and thank God she's still here, but she always made a way. And what that did to me, that instilled in me growing up, was that I could always make a way. So even when I fell down, and this is also for my sister too, for anybody that know us, even when we fall down, we always find a way to get back up. Born in 1982. I just hit 40 a couple months ago. But growing up in Myrtle, man, we had some of the same experiences as the ones before us, like being able to go outside, which the children are not able to do in today's time. But I remember times my mother would, y'all go outside and we can't come back in for the rest of the day, no matter if it was raining or not. You couldn't be in grown folks' business back then. So we got to explore the woods and do things like that. And that's what I experienced during my childhood. So when a lot of people was being captivated by the streets, in my mind, I was looking at the streets like I don't want to do that, and football become my first love, and that's what kept me out of a lot of situations that my peers end up going through. My family was known for football out of Bessemer City, so it was kind of in me to want to do it, but football for me was, I hadn't seen a game or anything. It was just when I got around my cousins, we played throw up tackle out in the streets. So that's how I became a part of football, through my older cousins when I would go down to Kings Mountain during the summertime, Paris Drive, and it's another one down there, but Paris Drive, Hilltop, Galilee, places like that. I would go down there, we'll play football, and that's how I got introduced to it. So I didn't start out by watching the NFL. I started out by playing it first, and then I developed a passion. My mother was one of those mothers that she was trying to figure things out. She was young. She come from a household that a lot of things that I know now as a man, she was not taught. So she was navigating, doing her best to get through this system that we're in. And we were kind of going to different elementary, but the elementary that I end up being able to stay in for 2 or 3 grades was Arlington Elementary. And man, that I had a ball during those times, man. Arlington was very impactful. I still got teachers, Miss Reynolds and Miss Cooper. These teachers, they seen something in me as well, man. And I see these people to this day, and they like, Torell, I'm so proud of you. But I started at Arlington, and at that time, the way Myrtle was lined up, they had the school lines to where certain kids were going to Hunter-Hurst or York Chester, and certain kids was going to Bessemer City. When I was in Arlington, I just knew I was going to York Chester because everybody that I went to Arlington with, that's what they said. They were saying they were going. So eventually, the school line switched up. They shipped us off to Bessemer City. During my time at Bessemer City, I made the best out of it. My junior high years, man, it was awesome, man. We had one of the best football, basketball teams around. We won the championship in football, basketball, and baseball my 9th grade year. I played quarterback. I was well known in this area for football. Coming out of junior high, we had a group of guys that I thought was gonna carry over to high school. But this is, in the 9th grade year, this is when things begin to change. A lot of the guys begin to quit school, and that same group of people that we had either quit school or went to another school, and that same group of guys we had, they wasn't there anymore. So it was a sense like I was by myself when I went up onto high school. And when I got to high school, man, I promise you, I probably could have quit in the 10th grade. And I tell people this all the time. I graduated high school with a 6th grade education. So basically what I'm saying is I stopped learning or even wanting to learn after the 6th grade. I didn't care nothing else about school. Football carried me through. I remember my 11th grade year, I didn't have enough credits to go to the 12th grade. And the coach went to the principal and he said, Mr. Partlow don't have enough credits to get to the 12th grade. Is there anything that we could do? Because he wanted me to play. They said, yeah, well, this is what we'll do. We said, they said, we'll give him books for the summer, work for the summer, and as long as he do this work, we'll give him the 3 credits that it takes for him to go to the 12th grade. Man, when I tell y'all I didn't touch that book one time, none of those books one time, and they gave me those 3 credits, and that created a lifelong thing in me where I felt like if I'm good enough, it's gonna be given to me, and that's not life. But that made my road a little longer until I woke up one day and said, you know what? Just because you're good don't mean people gonna give it to you. But at that time, they did. They gave it to me. I went to the 12th. I went to school every day, man, to eat, sleep on the desk, go to football practice. Hey, and I also remember, man, I would get out of football practice, and I'm so thankful my mother did this for me at a young age. I would get out of football practice and have to go to Wendys to work to help my mother at times to pay bills. I had to do that. And at that time, I didn't understand and I didn't like it. I was watching other kids, and back then I had a bad attitude. This would cause me to lash out at my peers because I was looking at them and it seemed like they had all the name brands, the Jordans. I never got that kind of stuff. My mother, she shopped at Goodwill, the thrift stores, and all that kind of stuff, but it caused me to lash out to people. Eventually, I had this aura about on me that I had a bad attitude. So my mother helped me. My mother had me going to Wendys to work, which I didn't know, and she might have didn't know, but it was preparing me for the workforce when I got old enough. Whereas a lot of other kids I seen graduate, and they were lost. Ooh, how did I get? Damn, they passed me? I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that I was about to walk across the stage because I didn't do anything. I had a lady by the name of Pearl Love. She was my assistant principal, and a lady by the name of, I don't know her first name, but we always call her Miss Barnett. She was a resource officer. But these ladies grabbed me. They grabbed me during that time because what they understood is I was just a child that I didn't have any guidance. You know, like I said, I got the same story everybody else got, man. I didn't have any guidance. I didn't have no male presence in my life to grab me and say, hey, listen, young man, don't do that. Do this, go this way, go that way. So those 2 ladies grabbed me, man, and by the time it came for me to graduate, I'm looking and can't believe my whole family about to come see me graduate, and I'm looking like, I can't believe I got through this, but football carried me through it, man, and that's my story on the graduation. I just couldn't believe that I was graduating. I was graduating with a 6th grade education, man, period. Well, of course, I loved football so much. I look back at some of my film and I cry when I watch it. And this is a story of a lot of men, like I continue to say. Gastonia has a ton of talent, legendary street ballers, guys that went to school, man, that after high school, they just went off the grid. They disappeared. So when I graduated high school, my downfall was, and I say this to a lot of men, like I'm gonna be very transparent during this time. But my downfall was women at that time. And when I graduated high school, I was dating a young lady, and I remember this older woman telling me, I went and checked Wingate out, Livingstone out. I was wanting to still play football, but I didn't want to leave her. And I remember an older lady saying to me, hey, listen, I think it was my aunt. She said, hey, listen, Torell, if that's supposed to be, she gonna be here when you get back, or you gonna have 5 or 6 more relationships. Go on to school. That's what she was telling me, because at that time, that's all they had been taught. Go through school, go to college, have a good life. But as I began to age and experience different things, I seen just a little different when it comes to that. But definitely, I wanted to go to college, but due to the fact I had a girlfriend back here, I did not go, and that kept me from going to college. So I didn't, after my 12th grade year, I didn't touch a football again. I just watched film and cried because that was a passion of mine. I loved it deeply. And for people to be gifted in that arena and not take it to the next level, it's like your life of that part just stops, and you keep going, and you looking back at that life like, man, can I bring it with me? No. You 30 now. 18 stopped right there. You understand? So, or 19, 20, it stopped right there. So 2010 came. I've been out of school now for 10 years. 2011 comes, and I'm about to have my first child. Thank God for my children's mother. She gave me these two beautiful children, and it pushed me to want to be better. They continue to push me, so I gotta give her major props. Shout out to you, Cherie Wilson, if you ever watched this. But 2011 came, and my son came, and I said, you know what? I had been working in the medical field as a CNA, and I said, you know what? I gotta figure out another way to make a living. So at that time, I started what was called, I was venturing out trying to do a lot of things, but the thing that I stuck at was I was cutting grass, and I started building yards up, got a couple businesses, and just was cutting grass. I didn't understand business at all. In my mind, I didn't think about going to school for business. I'm just thinking, I'm gonna go over here and cut grass and make money. I don't understand how to manage the money. I don't understand about separating and percentages. I didn't have those things. So I started, and people gonna say entrepreneurship, but I'm gonna use the term self-sufficiency. 2012 here come my daughter. She's born September 21st, 2012. So I have children back to back, right? Hey, it's time to wake up. I first of all, as a child, only thing I seen was my mother. I didn't see my father. Now, I did see positive influence in the community, such as, and I was going to say this another time, but I'll say it now. The mentality I got comes from the school of, like, I got the front porch knowledge from Cornell Crank and Mike Davis. Like, I took their mindsets and, in a sense, implemented into who I am today. Once my daughter came, I said, oh man, this grass cutting, this ain't it. I gotta find something else. And started getting pallets. Me and my children's mother, we started buying pallets, and we were selling pallets. And one day, I had been restoring this 1979 Camaro. I had been restoring it. And one day I was working at the nursing home, and they was going to give away, I think it was like 50 nightstands. They were giving them away. And I said, hey, can I have those nightstands? And they said, yeah. And at the time, since we were doing the pallets, I had started posting on the internet. One Man's Junk, Marketplace, all those different selling groups, they wasn't really out there like that at that time. But that's how I come into business, working the internet. So I asked them, could I have it? And I got those nightstands, and before you know it, I was selling those nightstands on Facebook. And one day I went and picked up my car, and I'm telling you, this was all the Spirit of God. I went and picked up my Camaro. I just got the motor rebuilt in it. So we were selling from the house, and I was like, you know what? I want a store. Now, I ain't never had a store. Nobody in my family had no store. But, you know, I said that was something that I wanted to do. And I was coming down 74 from a shop called Cool Sports in Shelby. But I was coming from there. They had rebuilt my engine. And, you know, then, man, and I see so many young guys, man, we were putting 10, 15,000 in cars, man. We ain't know no better. Now, even though I didn't let the streets grab me, I was mesmerized by what I seen in them. I seen all these guys coming up Crescent Lane, man. 10, 11 cars, Mercedes, Corvettes, Range Rovers, that type of stuff. It did captivate me, but I loved football so much that I seen it and then I went on, but it was still, it was a root of me. So when I got old enough to start doing that stuff, because by the time 2013, 14 rolled around, I done spent 30, 40,000 in old schools. I mean, anybody know me, they tell you I was strong on the old schools from 2010 to about 2013, 14. I hate to name drop, but these the guys that I seen that was my peers. I'm like, shoot, boy, James got that Cadillac over there in the sport. I'm finna do that. And I did that, man. I used to jack the cars up, put 24s, 26s, I did all that. But I'm coming down the highway that day, and a man follows me all the way down 70, from Shelby to Gastonia, follow me to a store. And he said, man, what's that on the back of your truck? And I said, it's a 327 that I had just rebuilt. He said, if you ever decide to sell it, here's my number. You call me and I'll give you back everything you got invested in it. So I said, nah, I ain't selling it. I got home that night. I was talking to my children's mom, like, you know what, I want to open me a storefront. I got to looking around for stores around Gastonia. And I eventually found a place at 1121 West Franklin. This is my first storefront. This is the birth of Sept.21 Furniture. And if y'all were listening earlier, I mentioned how my son was born September 21st, 2011, and right behind him come my daughter, September 21st, 2012. So I'm like, man, I'm riding around. I find a storefront, but it's messed up real bad. I mean, it needs to be remodeled. And this is a part of business. This is a jewel that I'm gonna drop for anybody that's starting a business. So I seen this place that was desolate, because at this time, no Lorray Mills, no ballpark. That area was, I mean, it's coming alive now, but at that time, it was dead. This 2014, 2015, I got in touch with the guy that owned the building, and his name was Ben, great guy, man. So Ben said, hey, listen, I'll rent you out this building. I'll give you 8 months free rent in this building. If you go in, this was a mistake, by the way. He helped me and he hurt me. He said, if you go in and you do the work on the inside of the building. So I said, okay. The first thing I thought about was that motor. I said, man, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna come up with the money. At that time, that's how foolish we are. We'll put money in cars and things that don't matter, and instead of things that's gonna help us in the future. But that's when I began to change. And I thought about that motor, and I reached out to the guy, and he stuck to his word, came and bought the motor from me. I took every penny of my own money. Went into 1121 West Franklin, on the corner of Van Street and Franklin. They used to call it the something corner. But for those that know, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I took that money, went in and began to remodel that place. And I remember when I had my opening, and I had people like Coach McCoy, great guy, he came out. Brilliant Wilson, he came out. I had a nice grand opening, but during my grand opening, I had an older cat by the name of Jeff. I forgot his last name, but Jeff said, hey, listen, in businesses, it take you 5 years to make money. And when I heard that, I said, 5 years to make money? You crazy, man. I'm gonna make money in the first 2 months. I'm gonna make money now. Today, I've made this right here, because when I opened, I had stuff to sell. I think my first day, I made around $800. You know, and I'm happy about that. I'm thinking, I done something. I'm finna defeat the odds of what they saying you can't do. I'm gonna show them, because see, I've been defiant all my life, and it's been a gift and a curse for me. But at that point, I was not trying to hear it. I'm gonna do that within 5 years. So I opened my storefront there, had a great grand opening. Now, I didn't have the grand opening where we called people down and did a ribbon cut. I wasn't connected with nobody. Nobody really even knew I was there. And that area was, again, it was desolate. So when the traffic was coming down Franklin, they were looking straight. And a lot of people didn't want to come on that end. They looking straight. What I was selling, the type of people that I would attract when they came, they like, oh Lord, is it safe to park? You know? So I'm still hustling and I'm so glad I came in this way. I'm still hustling and bustling, trying to find inventory. Because one thing you got to know about business, anybody start a business, first of all, if now knowing what I know, I wouldn't even tell you to begin to sell anything. I would tell you to build your business on paper first. Start there first. I went 7 years. Matter of fact, J. Cole say in a song, he say, the good news is you came a long way, but the bad news is you went the wrong way, right? So I got in business. I was moving. I was at that storefront I stayed there for 3 years, I think. 3 years, I began to learn the ups and downs of business, the ins and outs of businesses. And as time went on, I got to a point where I looked it good, and this is what happened a lot of time in our community. I looked it good, but I was struggling. I didn't have nothing, but you ride by and see this nice storefront. I done had anybody that ride down Franklin and you see a Coca-Cola mural up on side the wall, I paid to have that put up. And I was gonna say earlier, anytime you open a business, if you do not own that business, that location, do not go into that location remodeling. Because when it's time for you to go, you ain't taking any of that with you. My children, we ride by that sign all the time and they say, hey Dad, there go your old store. I had that sign put up. Now the Coca-Cola mural was there years ago, but it had faded off the wall. So I was bringing something back and I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying to attract customers because I knew if that sign was on the wall, people would say, hey, what's there? They would catch them. Because again, remember I said people was doing this. They wasn't doing that. So I had to have something. And the items that I began to sell, I was attracting people. Let me say this. Gastonia is where I'm from, and I want to tell anybody getting into business. I see a lot of people getting into business, and the first question they ask is, if I start a business, will you support me? Never ask that question, because let me tell you something. I never did that, because people are going to support who they want to support. And then also, it's about demand. You have to have something that the person is interested in buying. You can't force people to buy what you're selling. They have to have something that they looking for. You got to have something that they looking for. So understand this: when you begin your journey to self-sufficiency, that movie, The Field of Dreams, as it say, if you build it, they will come. I know that for a fact. I had people coming from, and still to this day, Georgia, Winston. All my business comes from Mecklenburg County. I do a little bit here, and it may be because I'm not as visible as most places, but the majority of my business does not come from here. But I built it up via social media, and now people have came. So never, if you gotta ask for support, then you ain't believing in what you're doing. And if you're not believing in what you're doing, and I'm gonna strongly encourage you to think about it, because business is like a baby. You got to nurture that baby. It's gonna grow, and you gotta be all in when you're taking care of your child. You can't take care of your child when they're an infant. You gotta nurture that child, and eventually it'll grow. You gotta be in it. It ain't no, man, if this ain't working, no. You keep going, keep striving into it. Because listen, I'm 7 years in. Now they said 5. Now having the knowledge that I got, I'm gonna say 10 to 15. So I got to looking at people like Tony Knox, great guy. He ended up being my mentor in the furniture world. But I looked at Tony, and instead of looking at Tony from a envious mindset or being jealous of him, I looked at him like, I'm gonna be there one day. It took him this amount of time. Okay, all right, I still got a lot to learn, but when I get right there, I'm gonna be here. And my great friend Rodney McGill, shout out to Rodney McGill, he would say, Partlow, keep working your plan. Keep working your plan. And that's what I've been doing. I've been working my plan. So you gotta be all in business. Every business has its climax. Well, let's say like every business has ups and downs. Different times of the year, your business might be booming and then it might slow down. I don't know too many businesses that's gonna boom all year. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist, but I don't know too many that does. So through me starting the furniture business, I began to say, okay, what other way I can make money? So I started a delivery service through the furniture. So when somebody would buy from me, I say, okay, I offer delivery as well. And started delivering to people. As time went on, I started noticing sometimes people would need to be moved. Sometimes people would move out of places and they would leave stuff behind, and they would need somebody to clear the place out. So then came along Move Out the Way moving company and Move Out the Way trash removal. All that was born from Sept.21. So in my 6 year of business is when I began to say, okay, I've been digging, and listen, people's laughing at me. Look at this fool. Here I am over here talking about, I've been coming out the mud with mine. I've been coming out the mud with my own money. Most people that's in business, they ain't using their own money. They using other people's money. And I didn't know. I was so defiant that I didn't need to use nobody's money. Now, it's pros and cons to that. But the pro to using other people's money is the risk. You don't have as much as risk as you have when you're using your own money. Because when I put all my money in that store and I left it, it was still there. It was still at the store. It didn't leave with me. So in my 6 year business, I realized I had came a long way, but I went the wrong way, and I started saying, dang, man, how's all these people, because now everybody in business, how's all these people jumping over me, man? And then I started opening my mind to understanding and listening to people, because I didn't want to listen to what people would say to me. And my teacher came to me and she said, Miss Reynolds, she said, Torell, are you a businessman or not? If you really want to be a businessman, they have funding out there for businesses. And I already knew this system was set up and designed a certain way. But what I found out was this country is built for business. So when I opened my eyes to what my teacher said to me that day, I said, okay, let me do my research. Now at the time, I went 7 years in business and only had an EIN number. For those that don't know what an EIN number, this is your business social security number. Now, I didn't know how important that was. I didn't think it was too important, but it is very important. So once I started digging, I'm like, dang, man, I need to structure my business. I need to do the right things so I can get access to funding, because see, I got the action behind the ambition. You gotta have that, by the way. A lot of people got the ambition, but they don't got the action. You got to have the action behind the ambition. You could talk about it all day, but if you don't move, then you're never gonna go anywhere. But if you talking about it and you jumping out, the more you go, the door's gonna open. Cause see, as you go, there's people waiting left and right. They waiting on you right now. And when you go, when you get right here, it's gonna be one come out the door. They gonna be a vessel. You gonna go, and on the left side, gonna be another one come out the door. They gonna be a vessel. As you keep going, you gotta understand that even if you start out slow, it's people right now, it's somebody out there debating, should I do it? I don't care what it is, somebody waiting on you to do it. And even if they don't wanna help you, they gonna have to. They're gonna have to. They being pushed by an energy. It could be your aura. It could be how you handle people. Customer service is big, and I hate to be rambling, but you guys gotta know this. I see so many people get in business and they don't understand the basics. They don't even have a foundation. And one of the foundation which has helped me in business is having customer service. I can't tell y'all how much money I have made off of rating and reviews from social media, because people want, it's people out there that see something that you selling, they want what you selling, but they may live in Greensboro and they can't get to it right now, but they want it. And you say, well, hey, listen, I offer debit payment via Venmo, Cash App, Square, whatever you may have. And they say, well, that item's $1,000, and it's scams out here. I don't trust, sending money over line like that. If you got your business set up to where you got a page and you done built your rating and reviews and you got great customer service, because that is very important, and that person can go to your page and see what you saying is valid and looking at different reviews, they gonna send the money just like that. I can't tell you how many times that has happened to me, but I built that. Once I closed down the first storefront, because I got to a point, a lot of people don't accept this, I could not afford the storefront. And I was riding one day and I seen a hair salon. And I said, man, let me stop in there and holler at them. I seen a space beside the hair salon. So when I went in there, I met a guy by the name of Scott Bird. Been very intricate in my life as far as pushing me when it came to furniture. So I went in there and I talked to Scott, and he said, well, that building next door open, man, and this will be great for you because this is a high traffic area. That's another thing you gotta know. Low and high traffic. This is a high walk-in traffic area because I got clients. I didn't really know Scott at the time. I heard his name before. He legendary with doing hair. So I am like, okay, let me move here. So I moved there, but remember when I started business, I started off the internet. So it didn't matter where I was at, I was pulling people in from the internet. If I post something that they like, I was pulling them in. So I was there for about 1.5 years, and Scott came to me, he said, man, one day you're gonna be the best when it comes to furniture, because what I started doing was I started taking mid-century pieces, and this is what, this is my big thing. I started taking mid-century dressers and refurbishing them, doing farmhouse, chalk painting, anything you can think of. I never thought in my life I would be doing that, but I'm gonna tell you, anybody out there, it's already in you. It's in your hands. Only thing you gotta do is initiate the action in whatever you're doing, and it's gonna come out. Who would have thought that I would be selling furniture? Who would have thought I would be painting dresses? So I started painting the dresses from that area, and then I said, you know what? I don't need a storefront anymore. I'm gonna do this from my house. So I began to do it from my house. I was getting too much traffic, and then I went into the storage unit. And when I tell y'all, that has been the smartest move I could ever make. I went and got 4 storage units. I would paint from the house, take a picture, and go put it in the storage unit and work the internet with whatever piece I got. So I got 4 storage units here in Gastonia, and I got one in Walkertown right next to Winston-Salem. Because as I say, people are coming everywhere to get what Torell Partlow said. It amazes me because I come from the bottom. I come from Myrtle. I was just a kid not too long ago running around up and down the street throwing whatever up in the air for football. And here I am now talking business and doing furniture. So yeah, now I'm doing it from the storage units, but you definitely can catch me on social media, Facebook, at Sept.21 Furniture, and on Instagram, Sept.21. But that's where I sell from now. So check this out. I've always been the type of person that I wanted to see everybody win. I got the heart to care for the world. That's my prayer at night. I pray for the less unfortunate. So throughout the years, man, I found people, less unfortunate people, helping them, getting other people together. We taking groceries. Shout out to my homeboy Brandon Reed. We taking groceries to people's houses. Taking Gastonia. I went to Tent City, gave out 100 blankets over in Charlotte to Tent City, gave blankets out. Came back to Gastonia, gave blankets out there. Me and my kids, man, we hit the Highland community. And at the time when it was a lot going over there with the speed, and me and my kids, and this has been a monumental thing. This is something that my children will never forget. Me and my children hit the street with the help of a few others, and also this lady, I forgot her name, but she got the ball rolling. But we hit the Highland community, and we started getting signatures for speed humps. So eventually they put those speed humps up, so that was huge. But me and the children would hit Mountain View picking up trash. These is areas I don't live in, but what I'm trying to do is help the younger ones develop a different mindset. for them to care. Oh, that person caring, he don't even live here. Hey, we gotta do better. It was just in me to do it. I wouldn't, like, you know, people, hey, they trying to get, you can say what you want to say. They looking for validation. You can say all of that, man, I'll take it. But people that know me, they know my heart. And this is the type of stuff I've done for years. This is nothing new. So for somebody like me to come out there and pick up trash in a neighborhood that I don't even live in, and that wasn't the Mount View wasn't the only neighborhood we did that in, but for me to come out there and do that, I think that planted a seed, and not just the children, the community's mindset that, you know what, somebody from the outside coming in, Partlow came down here and picked up trash that was big, went down there, fed the kids, man, and it began to create a domino effect, because I started seeing other people doing, but see, I'm just me. I'm not no damn civil activist. I'm none. I don't want to be none of that. I've been on my own the whole time I've been out here. I don't care about getting with this group, that group. I've been the lone rider on my own. But when you like that, people start looking at you like, hey, you're the leader. What should we do next? No. Don't look at me like that. I'm just somebody doing my part. You do your part. Don't tell me, hey, listen, I got 10 outfits. I'm gonna bring them to you, you go give them to the homeless. No, check this out, man. The homeless is over there off Bessemer City Road in the back there. Or the homeless is down, if you go down past something different. If you go down past there where the graveyard is, the homeless are off back through there. If you go to Charlotte, they ain't in Tent City no more, but you can look in the highways on 85 and see people go there. It's not me. I don't, at least I don't want to accept it right now, but I'm just doing my part. I said a good bit. I thought about, first of all, thank you, Franklin Media, man. I hope, you know, the message comes out clear. I hope I didn't offend anybody. It's time for us to start having straight talk with us as men. And it's gonna take a certain type of man to grab the youth, man, because right now, you know, everybody's saying, how can we get the youth? How can we get the youth? Hey, listen, you can't, when you're trying to catch these youngins, understand you got to roll over here, and my role may be to catch them, but they don't want to hear about, they want to hear how to make the money and then be shown. And I've went to these neighborhoods to show that. And I'm willing to get everybody know me, I will give game. I probably done a lot of business been birthed off of my information, and I don't mind giving it for free. And that's what I'm gonna close with. All right, y'all. I know I said a lot, but hold on before I go. I got something else to say. Shout out to my daughter and my son, TJ and Journey Partlow. My daughter over here is an entrepreneur, and she has a nail business. And her nail name is Ready Nails. And my son, he wants to start what, son?
IT business.
He wants to start an IT business where he goes in and fix systems for companies. So yeah, that my children are wanting to be entrepreneurs as well. Say what you gotta say, and we got it.
So I got a nail business called Ready Nails, and you can go on my dad's Facebook and just ask about me. I can do your nails.
Yes, sir. All right, we out here. Sept.21 in the flesh.
September.
All right.